In this video, we will talk about some of the basic filtering and troubleshooting commands. So let's start with filtering the show IP route output. So filtering the output of show IP route command on Cisco devices is useful for reviewing specific routing information or routes that meet particular criteria. For example, we have one command named longer prefixes. Okay, so the usage is something like that. Show IP route, you type the route with a subnet mask followed with longer prefixes keyword. Okay, so this command is used in Cisco devices to show the routing table entries for IP routes with prefixes longer than the specified length. So this command is particularly useful when you want to weave routes with specific subnet masks or when troubleshooting routing issues related for subnetting. So for example, on the screen, the example you see will display all routes in the routing table where the subnet mask is longer than 24 bits. So as you may notice, the output includes the routes only with subnet masks bigger than 24, right? Because I set the 24 bits in here with my subnet mask, and the output is showing the routes which have a subnet mask bigger than 24. 32, 30, 32, everything will be bigger than 24. And we have include, exclude, and begin. Okay, so in Cisco iOS, the show command can be combined with filtering keywords such as include, exclude, and begin to refine the output. These keywords allow you to search, exclude, or start displaying output from specific points in the command results, making it easier to manage and analyze the information. For example, the include keyword filters the output to show only lines that contain a specific string, and this is useful for narrowing down the output to relevant information. The exclude keyword filters the output to omit lines that contain a specified string. This is useful for removing irrelevant information from the display. And the begin keyword starts displaying output from the first line that contains the specified string. So this is useful for skipping over lines until a certain point in the output. For example, in router 1, I'm able to see there are some filtering commands implemented. For example, show process CPU, pipe include IP input. And the output is showing the lines only including IP input string. Okay, you don't see anything else. If there is no IP input in this output, it won't be showing up. For example, I have another command in here. Show IP interface brief, pipe exclude, this time exclude unassigned, which means it will exclude all the interfaces which doesn't have an IP address, which has an unassigned line in the output will be excluded, which means I will only be able to see the interfaces with the IP addresses assigned. And this one, show run pipe begin line VTY, it will just start the displaying output from the first line that contains line VTY. And we also have section filtering. Okay, so the show running config pipe section command is used to display specific sections of the running configuration on a Cisco device. So this command is useful for focusing on particular parts of the configuration without having to scroll through the entire configuration file. So for example, in here, I'm able to see show run pipe section IP SLA command is run, and it means you will see all of the configurations related with IP SLA only. And let's talk about some of the basic troubleshooting commands. And the first one is, of course, ping. That is a network utility used to test reachability of a host or IP address on a network and measure the round-trip time for messages sent from originating host to a destination. So it is a fundamental tool, guys, for diagnosing network connectivity issues. There are some options of ping command that we can use in Cisco IOS. So the first thing is the repeat. Okay, you are seeing in here ping IP address followed with repeat and 100. So by default, guys, the Cisco IOS ping command sends out 5 ICMP echo request packets. So the repeat option enables you to specify how many echo request packets are sent. For this example, it is 100. And we have the size option, datagram size, as you are seeing in here, ping followed with IP address and the size. This option enables you to specify the total size of ping packet, including the headers in bytes that will be sent. So in combination with the repeat option, you can send a steady stream of large packets and generate some load. And we also have this source option. Okay, so this option enables you to set the source IP address or interface of the ping packet. In this example, it is Fast Ethernet 00. And lastly, we have the DF bit, the option that you are seeing in here. This option sets the don't fragment bit in the IP header to indicate that routers should not fragment this packet. So if it is larger than the MTU of the outbound interface, the router should drop the packet and send an ICMP fragmentation needed and DF bit set message back to the source. So this option can prove very useful when you are troubleshooting MTU related issues. And we have the extended ping. So extended ping is a feature in Cisco devices that allows for more detailed configuration of ICMP echo requests ping compared to basic ping command. So some of the customizable parameters for extended ping are again source interface, source address. You can specify the source interface or IP address for the ping. You can set the size of packets to be sent. You can adjust the timeout period for responses and define the number of echo requests to send also. Also, you can set the TTL value for the packets by the help of extended ping. So it is useful for troubleshooting network issues, testing connectivity and verifying the paths, and helps in assessing the network's response under various conditions. So when we execute a ping command, we get a reply with some of the symbols that you are seeing on the screen. For example, when you ping a destination and you see this exclamation mark, that means successful answer return. If you see a dot, that means failed answer return, which means ping is not successful. If you see U, destination is unreachable, maybe there's an ACL, something like. If you see Q, the resource is busy. If you see M, it means failed to fragment the package. A question mark means unknown package type, and this means package time exceeded. Okay, so most of the time you will either see an exclamation mark or you will see a dot, or very rare cases you will see the U symbol. In Cisco devices, real-time information for debugging is accessed through the debug command, which provides live, detailed information about the device's operations and activities. So debug commands, guys, help in diagnosing and resolving network issues by providing real-time insights into the system's behavior and processes. It allows for observation of specific events or conditions as they occur. So you can enter the debug followed by the specific feature or process you want to monitor. So for example, on the screen, you are seeing an debug IP OSPF command output. and this output is very much useful to troubleshoot OSPF related issues in real time. And lastly, we will talk about defining the hardware problems. So the show process CPU sorted command in Cisco IOS displays the CPU utilization of processes on a Cisco device sorted by the percentage of CPU usage. So this helps in identifying which processes are consuming the most CPU resources, allowing for better troubleshooting and performance monitoring. So the command is, like you see, it is show process CPU sorted, and output will show you the processes and how much CPU they are consuming in a sorted fashion, as you are seeing in here. Okay, and you are seeing something else in here. CPU utilization for 5 seconds, 4%, 1 minute, 6%, and 5 minutes, 5%. Okay, so this is some sort of the average CPU consumption of the whole router as well. And we also have the show memory output. It is also used for defining hardware problems. If you experience with high memory consumption on the router itself, you can run this command and try to understand which process is taking highest memory. Alright guys, that is it from my side for this section as well, and thank you so much for listening to me.